Most modern engines are built to last over 200,000 miles, but the truth? Most don't even make it past 120,000. Not because they're poorly made, but because they're neglected. The good news? There are small monthly habits, things that take less than 10 minutes that can easily double your engine's life. They cost next to nothing, require zero mechanical skill, and they prevent the exact problems that ruin engines before their time. I've seen cars hit 300,000 plus miles just by following these. Stick to the end, and the last tip I'll give you, that's the one that separates a car that dies at 150,000 from one that runs like new past 500,000. Let's start with the single most important habit that keeps your engine alive, and the one too many people skip. Habit number 1. Check engine oil level and condition. If you only remember one thing from this video, let it be this. Oil is your engine's lifeblood. Nothing destroys an engine faster than letting it run low, dirty, or burnt. I've seen more motors destroyed by bad oil habits than anything else. Here's what you do. Once a month, find the dipstick, pull it out, wipe it clean, slide it back in, then pull it again. That little stick tells the truth better than any warning light ever will. You're looking at two things, the level and the condition. The oil should be a warm amber color, almost like honey. If it's dark, gritty, or smells burnt, it's crying out for a change. And the level. Even a quart low means key components are running dry, grinding metal on metal. That kind of damage can't be undone. It takes 2 minutes, but those 2 minutes, they could save you $2,000 in repairs. Because once wear sets in, once your piston rings, lifters, or bearings get scarred, the engine never runs the same again. That's why I check it religiously. Good oil doesn't just lubricate. It protects, cools, and cleans everything inside. And while the hood's up, don't close it just yet. There's another fluid that can quietly kill your engine without warning. It's often overlooked until it's too late, and it's just as critical. Habit number 2, inspect coolant reservoir. Engines don't just die from bad oil. They cook themselves to death when we ignore coolant, and it happens faster than you'd think. Overheating is one of the quickest ways to turn a perfectly good engine into a pile of scorched metal. Here's how to stay ahead of it. Once a month with the engine cold, and I mean stone cold, pop the hood and look at the coolant reservoir. Never open the radiator cap while the engine is hot unless you're in the mood for a face full of boiling antifreeze. Just check the translucent overflow tank. On the side, you'll see min and max marking. The level should be in between. But don't stop at the level. Look at the color. Fresh coolant is bright and clean, usually green, orange, or pink, depending on the type. If it's murky, rusty, milky, or you spot oily swirls floating inside, that's not just bad coolant, that's big trouble. It could mean a blown head gasket or oil getting where it doesn't belong. So while you're standing there with the hood up and your eyes already in inspection mode, don't stop now. There's another silent killer hiding in plain sight. One that's small, cheap, but can take your entire engine down with it. Habit number 3, inspect belts and hoses. Sometimes it's not the big stuff that brings your engine down. It's a $30 belt or a soft, swollen hose. I've seen perfectly good engines overheat, alternators quit, and power steering vanish, all because someone didn't look twice at their belts and hoses. Once a month, take a flashlight and give them a good visual once over. Start with the belts. They should look solid and smooth. No cracks, no shiny glazed spots, no fraying at the edges. Press down gently with your fingers. If it feels too loose or you hear a squeal when starting the engine, it might need tightening or replacing. Now for the hoses, squeeze them gently. They should feel firm but flexible, not rock hard, not mushy. Look near the clamps for leaks or dried, crusty buildup. Bulges or surface cracks are warning signs that pressure is building where it shouldn't. And when a hose finally gives out, it's not gradual. It dumps your coolant in seconds and your engine's cooking before you even realize it. I'll never forget one customer who drove in with smoke pouring from under the hood. His serpentine belt had snapped on the road, and with it went his water pump. By the time he pulled over, his engine was hell hot. That failure started with one tiny crack in the belt, the kind he could have spotted in his driveway. You don't need tools, just your eyes and your hands. And while you're already under the hood, there's one more place you should look. And this one's sneaky. It's what's happening under the car that tells you what's really going on inside the engine. Habit number 4, check for fluid leaks under the car. Engines don't always fail in a dramatic instant. Sometimes they bleed out slowly, quietly, and leave clues right beneath your feet. The driveway, the garage floor, the parking spot at work. That's your engine's report card. Most folks never look down, and that's exactly how small problems become catastrophic ones. Once a month, back your car out of its usual spot and take a few seconds to examine the ground. Don't just ignore that little stain or kick gravel over it. Look closer. Clear water? Probably just condensation from your AC. No big deal. But dark brown or black? That's oil. Red or pink could be transmission fluid or power steering. Green, orange, or pink and slick to the touch? That's coolant, and that's trouble, even a few drops matter. I've seen people ignore slow leaks for months until one day their car overheated on the highway and never started again. A tiny oil leak today becomes low oil next month. A faint coolant drip becomes a warped head in summer traffic. Catching it early means fixing a $20 gasket instead of replacing the whole engine. So get in the habit. Just once a month, look down. Your car speaks in drips before it screams in failure. And speaking of small parts that carry big consequences, the next thing we're checking is a little valve most drivers have never even heard of. But when it fails, it can quietly ruin everything inside your engine. Habit number 5, inspect PCV valve. It's small, hidden, and often ignored, but this one tiny valve plays a massive role in keeping your engine clean and breathing right. The PCV valve, short for positive crankcase ventilation, is one of those parts that costs almost nothing but protects everything inside the engine. Its job? Simple. It vents harmful pressure and vapors from the crankcase and routes them back into the engine to be safely burned. But when the PCV valve clogs, sticks, or breaks, pressure builds inside your engine. That's when seals start leaking. Oil finds its way into places it shouldn't, and sludge begins to form like plaque in arteries. Here's how to check it. Find the PCV valve, usually plugged into the valve cover with a small hose. Gently pull it out and give it a shake. You should hear a faint rattle. No rattle? That's a warning sign, it's gummed up. If the hose attached to it is cracked or dry, replace that too. The part itself is cheap, often under $10, but it prevents thousands in future repairs. I once saw a car with an engine that was perfectly maintained. Oil changes on time, coolant topped off, but the inside was coated in sludge. The reason? A stuck PCV valve. No airflow meant the vapors and acids stayed trapped inside the oil, and it destroyed the engine from the inside out. So while you've still got your hands under the hood and your mind in prevention mode, it's time to look at another spot where buildup causes chaos, a place where gunk and grime can quietly throw your engine off balance without ever lighting up the dash. Habit number 6, clean throttle body and MAF sensor. Your engine is a giant air pump, and just like lungs, it needs clean airflow to breathe, burn fuel, and run right. Two unsung heroes in this system, the throttle body and the MAF sensor. One controls how much air gets in. The other tells the computer exactly how much is flowing. But when they get dirty, and they always do, your engine starts guessing. And when an engine guesses, it gets it wrong. Over time, carbon builds up around the throttle plate, making it stick. You might notice a rough idle, high idle, or sluggish acceleration. The MAF sensor, sitting in the intake tube, collects dust, oil vapor, and grime. When it can't read airflow properly, the engine runs too rich or too lean, wasting fuel and stressing out every moving part. Once a month, give them a quick cleaning. Remove the intake hose and spray throttle body cleaner around the plate. Use a clean rag to wipe the edges, but don't force the plate wide open. For the MAF sensor, only use MAF specific cleaner. A couple of sprays, no touching, no scrubbing, and let it dry. That's it. The difference is night and day. It's one of the cheapest habits that has one of the biggest impacts. And since you've just helped your engine breathe better, now's the perfect time to check the very system that sparks all that air and fuel into motion. Habit number 7, inspect spark plug wires and coils. Your engine lives and dies by spark. No spark equals no combustion. Weak spark and you get misfires, wasted fuel, sluggish power, and long-term engine wear that creeps in silently. That's why checking your spark plug wires and coils once a month is a habit that pays off big. If you've got an older vehicle with plug wires, run your fingers along them. Feel for cracks, stiffness, or spots where they're rubbing against metal. At night, you can mist them lightly with water. If you see tiny blue sparks dancing, voltage is leaking, and those wires are failing. That's electricity that should have gone to your spark plug, now arcing to the nearest ground instead. On coil-on-plug systems, pull one of the coils and inspect the rubber boot. Look for dry, cracked material, corrosion, or little black lines called carbon tracking. Those lines are signs that the spark has been jumping places it shouldn't, and when that happens, your engine fires unevenly and stress builds across the board. Clean spark doesn't just help the engine run better, it keeps everything downstream healthier, from your catalytic converter to your piston rings. And speaking of what your engine is trying to tell you, the next habit isn't about looking, it's about listening. Habit number 8, listen for strange noises. Engines don't go silent when something's wrong. They talk to you. You just have to listen. The problem is, most drivers drown out those warning whispers with music, podcasts, or daily distractions. But every strange knock, tick, squeal, or hiss is your car's way of saying, hey, something's off. Once a month, drive with the radio off and the windows down. Pay attention, knocking or pinging. That sharp metallic rattle, like marbles in a tin can, often means bad fuel, carbon buildup, or ignition timing problems. Ignore it, and you could end up with damaged pistons. Ticking or tapping might be low oil, worn lifters, or valves needing adjustment. Sometimes it's even a small exhaust leak that sounds worse than it is, but still needs fixing. A high-pitched squeal? That's almost always a loose or worn belt about to fail. If it goes, you could lose your alternator, power steering, or water pump in seconds. Grinding sounds? Think bearings in your alternator, AC compressor, or water pump. Let it go too long and one of them could seize up. Shred your belt, and leave you stranded. And hissing? That usually means a vacuum leak, which throws off fuel trim and makes the engine stumble and idle rough. One of the most overlooked sounds? A dull thump or clunk when shifting gears or accelerating. That often points to failing engine or transmission mounts, the very parts meant to keep your drivetrain in place. And since that kind of stress builds from the ground up, now's the time to look at what holds the whole electrical system together, and why your engine could run fine one day and act possessed the next. Habit number 9. Clean battery terminals and cables. Your engine doesn't just need fuel and air, it runs on electricity. And if the connection at your battery is weak, your whole car can start acting strange. Hard starts, flickering lights, rough idling, mystery error codes. I've seen it all traced back to one simple thing: dirty or loose battery terminals. Once a month, pop the hood and give the battery a quick inspection. Look at the posts and cables. If you see white crust, green fuzz, or any powdery buildup, that's corrosion. And corrosion equals resistance. Resistance equals weak voltage. And weak voltage? That messes with everything from your ignition system to your fuel pump. Cleaning it is easy. Use a wire brush and a little baking soda solution. Just a tablespoon of baking soda in water works great. Scrub the terminals until the metal shines. Then rinse, dry, and reattach the clamps securely. Give each one a wiggle. If they move at all, they're too loose. Tighten them down. A dab of dielectric grease helps prevent future corrosion. I once had a customer with a car that wouldn't start. He thought the starter or ECU was fried. Turned out the battery terminals were so corroded the engine wasn't getting full voltage. 2 minutes with a brush and the car fired right up. That's how fast a small thing can kill a drive. And while we're talking about electricity, there's one critical tip that goes even deeper than the battery. A habit most people never do, but it's one that can literally save your car's brain. Habit number 10. Clean and protect electrical grounds. If the battery is the heart of your electrical system, then your car's grounds are the nervous system. And when those grounds go bad, strange things start to happen. Flickering lights, random misfires, sensors that stop talking, fuel pumps that cut out, even transmission issues that seem to come and go like a ghost. I've watched people spend thousands chasing problems that all trace back to one thing: dirty or corroded grounds. Every modern car has multiple ground connections. They complete the circuit for nearly every electronic system in your vehicle. The ECU, ignition coils, O2 sensors, injectors, even your dashboard. When these grounds build resistance, voltage gets unstable, modules start glitching, diagnostics get confusing, and worst of all, parts start failing. Here's the fix. Once a month, find the main ground connections. Start with the negative battery cable where it bolts to the chassis. Then look for the braided straps between the engine block and the body. Remove the bolts, scrub the metal surfaces with a wire brush until they shine, reinstall them tightly. Then coat the area with dielectric grease to protect it from moisture and corrosion. It's one of the most powerful, but least known maintenance habits you can do. No flashing lights will tell you it's time. No error code will beg for attention. But clean grounds mean your engine starts stronger, your sensors stay accurate, and your car runs smoother. And now that your wiring's clean and your sensors are happy, it's time to give your engine something just as important: fresh air. Let's go back under the hood and take a look at how your engine breathes. Habit number 11. Check air filter. Your engine breathes just like you do. And a dirty air filter is like stuffing a rag over your mouth while asking you to run a marathon. Not gonna happen. When the air filter gets clogged with dust, bugs, leaves, and road grime, your engine suffocates. Power drops, fuel economy crashes, and over time, internal wear starts to build up. But here's the good news. This check is as easy as flipping open a book. Most cars have a plastic air box held closed by a few clips or screws. Pop it open, pull out the filter, and hold it up to the light. If you can't see daylight through it, your engine can't breathe through it either. It's that simple. Fresh air is essential to efficient combustion. When airflow is restricted, your engine compensates by dumping more fuel into the mix. That leads to rich fuel trims, carbon buildup on spark plugs and valves, and stress on your catalytic converter. It all adds up to a car that feels sluggish and drinks gas faster than it should. Air filters are cheap, often under $20, and they last thousands of miles. But if you live in a dusty area, drive on gravel, or spend time in stop-and-go traffic, they get dirty faster than you think. One quick glance each month is all it takes to stay ahead. And while we're talking about efficiency, there's something else quietly working against your engine: rolling resistance. It's time to step off the engine bay and take a look where the rubber meets the road. Habit number 12. Check tire pressure and alignment. Most drivers don't realize it, but your tires can quietly make your engine work harder every single mile. Underinflated or misaligned tires don't just wear out rubber, they increase rolling resistance, and that forces your engine to burn more fuel just to keep the car moving. It's like dragging a sled with the brakes half on. Once a month, grab a tire gauge, not the beat-up one at the gas station, and check all 4 tires when they're cold. Cold means parked for at least a few hours. The correct pressure? It's not on the tire itself. Open the driver's door and look for a white sticker near the latch. That's the pressure your car was designed to run. If you're even 5 psi low on all 4 corners, you're wasting gas. chewing through rubber, and quietly adding load to your drivetrain. Now multiply that by months or years, and suddenly the engine's carrying more than it should have ever had to. And it's not just pressure. Watch how your car drives. Does the steering wheel pull to one side? Do your tires look worn on the inner or outer edges? That's alignment. And when it's off, everything from your suspension to your fuel economy takes a hit. Misalignment also causes uneven stress on CV joints and wheel bearings. Keeping your tires healthy doesn't just help with safety and comfort. It lets your engine work smarter, not harder. And speaking of smart, there's a habit that helps your engine clean itself from the inside out. One that takes less than a minute and can make a huge difference in long-term performance. Habit number 13, run fuel system treatment. Your engine burns fuel every second it runs, but over time, that fuel doesn't burn as cleanly as it should. Injectors start to clog. Carbon builds up on valves. The combustion chambers get coated with deposits. And the longer it goes unchecked, the harder your engine has to work just to do its job. That's where a monthly fuel system treatment makes all the difference. You don't need a mechanic. Just grab a trusted brand, not the cheapest bottle on the shelf, and pour it into the tank before you fill up. That way, it mixes thoroughly as you pump your gas. A good cleaner helps restore the fine spray pattern your injectors need. Clean injectors mean efficient combustion, smooth power, and better fuel economy. Dirty injectors? They dribble instead of mist, leading to hesitation, misfires, and wasted gas. I've seen engines sound like they had a dead cylinder, only to purr like new after a single tank with the right cleaner. And if you want to go a step further, stick with top-tier fuel. It has extra detergents built in to keep things clean between treatments. It's a small difference at the pump, but a big win over time. Fuel is your engine's energy source. Keep that system clean and everything downstream benefits. But now, let's talk about a different kind of cleanup, one you can't pour from a bottle. You have to use your foot. And surprisingly, a little hard driving might be exactly what your engine needs. Final bonus, habit number 14. Drive the car hard once in a while. It might go against everything you've been told, but here's the truth. Being too gentle on your engine can actually shorten its life. That's right, always keeping the RPMs low, taking only short trips, idling through traffic. It sounds safe, but over time, it slowly suffocates your engine. That's why this final bonus habit is one of the most powerful. Once a month, give your car a proper workout, take it out on the highway, get it fully warmed up, and drive it like it was designed to be driven. Let the revs climb, accelerate firmly, hold steady at higher speeds. You're not racing, you're clearing out the carbon. This Italian tune-up burns off gunk that normal driving never touches. It cleans your pistons, valves, and catalytic converter. It frees up sticking piston rings, it improves throttle response, and it keeps your engine breathing clean and running strong. I've seen so many low-mileage engines clogged with carbon simply because they were never pushed. Meanwhile, delivery cars and highway commuters, engines with hundreds of thousands of miles, still purring like new. Why? Because they ran hot, hard, and clean. So make this part of your monthly ritual. It's the habit nobody talks about, but the one that separates engines that fail at 120,000 miles from those that last 500,000. And since you're already thinking long-term, don't stop here. Check our other video to discover the biggest oil change mistakes most drivers make without even realizing it. The kind that silently kill engines no matter how often you change the oil. I'll show you exactly how to avoid them. Until next time, drive smart, take care of your ride, and it'll take care of you.